Hello, my name is Greg and welcome to Thisflippenfurniture. On today's video, we are going to take this old dresser and turn it into this kitchen island. And that's not all we're going to do, so stay tuned for some exciting details. I will give you a little hint. I was recently watching a video where Mr. Beast, who has over 100 million YouTube subscribers, gave away a literal island. And I thought, if I'm a furniture flipper, why can't I give away an island? So at the end of this video, I will put the rules and the regulations of the giveaway. And also, my son said he would like to make his YouTube entrance, or shall I say exit.
Since this will be in the kitchen, I'm going to go ahead and use Tight Bond 3. Might as well do this now so I can sand these marks out. I'm bouncing around a couple of different ideas. I think I'm going to go ahead and just put a screen mesh over that door, and then I'll probably put a shelf in there. Somebody got a little sloppy with their paint and just have Dawn just soak. All the neat things you find in furniture flipping. Hi, that's kind of cute. 1/8 of an inch. Now I know why they pulled that apart. Door didn't fit. These will be a little tricky, just because I want to notch that out so we get tight fit. I don't want to use that one. So there's a couple of ways we can cut that out. Get some of this stuff painted. And by the way, if you know how many times I tried that to get it to not fall off of the table, you would be really impressed. And we are using Spanish sand by Bear.
If you ever want to look like you mean business, step back, fold your arms, and just stare. That dresser now knows that I mean business.
Now we have all 11 pieces the exact same height.
I learned a lot on this furniture flip. Right here, I learned which way to push a hand plane.
Trying to decide if I should make one this full length. I'm going to go in tonight and measure like a spice bottle or something. I know they're no bigger than that. Trim that, but that could get more complicated pretty quickly when you start shifting doors. I got this new selfie stick where it rotates. You can zoom in, zoom out. Let me show you what it looks like. It's a chair. Purpose and by design, multiple pours so I can kind of gauge the color, see if I like it. Hey, Casper, what you doing? So we're gonna do a combination Liberty Copper, hazelnut, and mahogany. Okay, and using very precise measurement. I might like this as far as epoxy goes. We'll get a better look when we start pouring some stuff in. And before I glued this up, I kind of put it all together, and how it ended up being is most of the holes that required to be filled are in the middle. So I wanted a little bit epoxy on the outside. So I took these two end pieces and I put just a 1 degree chamfer on it. Some of these questionable size holes, I like to make just a little bit bigger so we can get that filled with epoxy. I'm not overly concerned about bubbles on this since we will very likely do multiple pours. The challenge with doing it this way, that won't fit through my planer at least, is getting enough on here to make sure you can sand everything flat and not have to sand too much, because you can certainly go overboard in filling it and create yourself a lot of work, but sometimes that's what has to be done. That one looks like it's gonna be a problem. That crack runs all the way down. It's pretty level, but I'm just gonna take it this way just a little bit to keep it. Yeah, that's just slightly going that way. It's worth pouring epoxy just to pop the bubbles. We'll keep an eye on it. I was undecided how I was going to do this, if I was going to paint it. And then I came across this piece of walnut. It was actually in bad shape on the back side. This was, and I kind of planed it down. It was, had quite a bit of rot in there, but so I could run it through my table saw safely. I love this type of figure in walnut. Well, I've never seen if it would fit. Okay, yeah, we got room. This has been a little over 24 hours. I hit it with the sander here just to make sure. We're gonna go ahead and get started. And I want no part of breathing this dust. So we're gonna do everything we can to keep the dust out of our lungs. You've seen me taking my square going all the way down, checking every so often. So this part is high, so that can be sanded more. time to take a little break. I went through 4 batteries sanding this, so got a decent start on the lower grits. I knew it would be a lot of sanding the way that I did it. This water will raise the grain, so we need to do that anyhow. We just kept all that out of our paint. I don't know what makes me think about this. Maybe someone can remind me, but whenever I'm painting big surfaces like this, I always think paint the fence or paint the house. I don't know. I always think, Danielson, paint the house, paint the fence. These are handy little things to have. I like keeping these old paint rollers. I forgot to clean that one. Gives a pretty decent sanding surface. I'm glad I stopped when I did, because all these little dark spots, I planned on sanding them off. Even down here, I was planning on coming back and filling these. I think I like it how it is. Like, that just looks really nice. Take a chain, whack it a few times. I was just looking for a little meat hammer, and that'll put some neat little marks in there. And then I'll take like the 60 grit sandpaper and then go straight, skip several, and maybe go 120. I'm gonna be in trouble because I planned on giving this piece away to one of my subscribers. I can tell you with certainty, if my wife sees this, she is gonna want it. So, I do not know how to keep it a secret. I don't know what I'll use. I know I'm going to end up topping it. Well, I might. I was thinking about Odie's oil or Rubio. I'm not sure. And it gives some depth to those holes. How I'm going to do these little racks. And let's say 55.5. Straight down. I think they would look better if they were. Just going to measure from the inside here to inside. 48, just about right. What I'm doing here is, this is the offset from trim pieces. These will set inside of that, so if we look at it from this line, that's how far that shelf will be sticking out. You know your saw's in good shape when that distance next to that line is perfectly straight the entire way.
Because usually somewhere early in the project, I'll just slap a coat of paint on there. Helps me kind of know what the finished project is going to look like. I couldn't even put a percentage number on it, but knowing that 98.7% of statistics are made up on the spot, I would say probably 15% of the projects that I do, if I incorporate woodworking, I end up using another color.
Go up to 240 on this. So I've got this one clamped down tight, and we still have that gap there. And that's because how much these cheaper clamps, like that angles back this way instead of at the top applying pressure in. So we'll get creative with the clamping. If you ever hear people say you can never have enough clamps, it's for situations like this, but we ended up getting that so there's no gaps or seams there. We ran into that problem over there too. That knot can come out pretty easily when it's sanding, but we can get that to line up pretty closely with that knot. Kind of makes it look like a natural transition. So I think we'll go ahead and take the chance. I don't have to glue that. So typically on tops like this, I wouldn't allow these clamps to bang and clang all over there, but we're kind of want it to be a little roughed up and aged looking. If you go against the grain, it keeps it, or against the rotation of the bit, keeps it pretty tight. If you go with the rotation of the bit, it tends to pull it away a little bit. All right, that doesn't look too bad. Just a few spots, little dents and dings and divots that I put in here. Those tend to hold sawdust. I just kept cutting it little by little and have that bow in there. So I'm just gonna hand sand that down a little bit, just the bottom needs it. And then when I push that down, it should make a really tight seam. Since we're going to give this piece away, or since the last time I checked, we have 269 subscribers to the channel. We're closing in on 10,000 channel views, and I looked.
All right, it looks like we have 9,024 views. And that's actually by design. As many of you know, if you've watched my other videos, I like puzzles or just silly things. The one way that I have found to do a giveaway and to stay within the community guidelines of YouTube, and now that we're pushing 10,000 views and 269 subscribers, first I want to say
Thank you.
I'm very happy with that. If you would like to be included in the random drawing, type in the comments below 9024 views, and that's VEIWS. And we did that because we know we're going to have some people that would just try to sneak in here and just copy the views from the comments. And could you believe they might not watch the entire video? But for now, let's get back to the furniture flip.
Being perfectly level or slim to none. And this one came with 2 bubbles. Yeah, that's pretty far off. Maybe I should measure up from the bottom. That might be a better option. Put this side down a little bit. Okay, that gives us a slight downward angle. Okay. If you ever have one of these squeeze clamps and you break it, don't throw it away. This is typically, it would be turned around, and this part broke because I took, all clamps are a little different. I took that set screw out, and now this goes in the opposite direction. I think, now that I give that a little thought, I don't know what kind of wood this is, so I don't know how much it'll expand. So I'm going to take that a little bit more off. Probably wouldn't hurt for me to one day find out what I did with my Craig jig. It's 30 7/16, and this is 8 1/16. Somebody liked funny math. Does anybody know what half of 30 7/16 is? Besides 15 1/32, who really wants to measure that? Would that work? Yep. Okay, and then we'll go down 4. Okay. So 3 13/16. Right there's your answer. 1 29/32. I'll pass. We're just going to use 15/16 because anything else is giving me a headache. This is why I like making jigs. The way that I just did that is helpful just to double check. I wasn't confident because of those screwy fractions. So I measured straight down to the outside, so the OD, and just make sure the outside is perfectly lined up with the outside of these. Did you ever have so much to do that you stop doing everything and get sidetracked with something crazy? I just spent an hour sanding down my table. Okay, I should really call it quits for the night, but I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. I love Odie's oil. And since Odie's oil is food safe, I did the top. Then I'm going to do the sides and some other finish, not sure yet. Gives it the look that we want. So I scribed a line in here with this and get out little by little with the chisel, and hopefully I can get a straighter line with the chisel over sanding it out. Just about to where I want it. Kind of rabbited. So I'm going to have to do a compound miter cut.
And that just has the bevel angle and then the miter angle.
So we won't get into those tonight. Okay, that's a pretty good fit there. Much better than that first attempt. And I put a little negative chamfer on that too. Here's the advantage of sneaking up on these cuts, especially on like this stuff that's been sanded and different things been done to it. Let's see if the camera can pick that up. At the top, I could probably get that in. At the bottom, it won't quite go in yet. So I'm just going to take and sand this edge down and not cut it anymore and see if I can get it to slide in there. Sometimes that's the difference between a real noticeable seam. Okay, a little bit more. There we go, not too bad considering what we started with. Okay, we are getting down to the nitty-gritty, and we'll have this one wrapped up here probably this evening. We're gonna go ahead and do a little pre-stain. I don't know, I've noticed on walnut, this pre-stain isn't necessarily necessary. I think walnut stains nicely without it, but certainly on some other woods, like any pine, or I forget the name of the wood right now. I did the bench in that, and I won't stain that without putting this Minwax pre-stain on it. It'll come to me here in a minute. All right, we'll give that 20 or 30 minutes or so. Put on our final coat of Danish oil. On the top, I used the Odie's oil. On areas that we know or suspect will be high traffic areas, and I made this as with the intentions of it being a kitchen island, but whoever ends up with this, you know, might need it in a bedroom or whatever. But I always like to make sure on these high traffic areas that there's ample polyurethane. A couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you know, but this is Outlaw's board butter, and this is from 731 Woodworking. Matt Outlaw and Mrs. 731 came to a woodcraft store in Nashville, actually in Franklin, and got to meet him. He's a really nice person, and truth be known, his wife was probably nicer than him. Thank you, Miss 731. But they gave that out in a couple other gifts for the people that came out to see him. And Matt does some real motivating videos on going out and living your dream and doing what it is that you feel you have a calling to do. So because of him and a couple of other furniture flippers is why I have a camera going today. on one of these little bumpers. So with it being so cold, that night I put the Odie's oil on it. It didn't give the finish like Odie's oil normally does. So when I brought it in here, it was a little bit blotchy. And I went through and touched up all my old cutting boards, and man, it did a great job. This Outlaws. This board was all beat up and had knife marks in it, and I put on 2 coats of this, and it made it look really nice. So I went over the top of this, and it really evened out all those variations in the finish. And I'm particularly drawn to this because if you don't know, I'm a bit of an outlaw myself. All right, we finally have this thing finished. I think it turned out pretty nice, but I did get myself in trouble. When I made the post on the community tab that I was going to have a random drawing and have a giveaway to one of my subscribers, my wife didn't know she would like it so much. We got a little bit of epoxy on this walnut top, speckled throughout. There's a little bit right there. Here's where I put that 1-degree chamfer on that wood to get some epoxy on the outside. So at the time I started this, I had 269 subscribers. So you have a 1 in 269 chance of winning this. But if you're a family or friend that is subscribed to the channel, you're not eligible. Sorry. So if you take out all of my family and friends that are subscribed to my channel, your chances of winning goes down to 1 in 267. So there's a pretty good chance you can win this. And you ask, is this a desperate plea from a furniture flipper to get to 1,000 subscribers, or just a nice, clever, generous way to get rid of this piece of furniture? Since I made this piece, since I decided to give it away to one of the subscribers, I will go with it as an absolute desperate plea to get to 1,000 subscribers. I think we can do it. So if you don't want to win this, don't bother subscribing. If you would like a pretty good shot of winning this, hit that subscribe button, and I will ship this to your house, providing you are in the continental United States. So to all my friends across the pond, we're not going to be able to arrange shipping for you. Who are you?
Tax collector.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to look in the description for all the rules to the Kitchen Island giveaway. Thanks again.